27th hour.
Protein overload. I want to say thank you to the extra 200 subscribers and followers that I've had on Instagram over the last month. That's been amazing. I can't believe how fast my Instagram has grown over the last month or so. So that's been huge. And you know, I always say content is key. You know, a lot of podcasts should follow this principle. When you feel passionately about something and you want to talk about something, it doesn't matter if you don't have the best fucking camera equipment. Or I'm recording this on my fucking phone right now because, you know, my laptop died like 2-3 weeks ago, and the last two vlogs I did have been on this phone. You know, but this needs to be heard. This needs to be talked about. We are wrapping up our kids and this generation in Cotton Wool, and it is happening around us right now. You know, we wanna present it in such a way that, oh, it's terrible, it's horrible. Well, yeah, but you also have a choice. You don't have to do that. You can be accountable. You know, the society and the culture that we live in right now, they're acting like, oh, we want to save this archaic and medieval way that, you know, universities, schools, you know, education, it's the good way. It's the good fight. It's the good old-fashioned, you know, way to society, the way to make money, the way of economics, you know, the way of England. When in reality, you've got 10, 15-year-old kids who are making, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds on YouTube, you know, on gaming channels, going, fuck you, you know, because they're out there proving that you don't need a degree. And we saw that with the first pandemic. Technology rose, Zoom calls, and everyone, you know, the suit culture of work, you know, all had to adapt. They all had to go, what's this Zoom thing, you know? And that's been the same throughout history. You know, whenever there's a crisis, everyone jumps on and everyone adapts. The smart people at least do. And it's getting to me now, and I'm getting agitated, I'm getting frustrated. You can see I'm frustrated because people love to shame and people love to blame. And it's not fair what's happening, because it's not just the young generation, it's not just the you know, the education system, it's not just the entrepreneurship is being slammed as well, the freelancers, the working from home, everything. We're in this whole era of negativity and judgment, and also people love to just go out there and pick. You know, we literally have a culture of people sitting there with a fucking notepad going, waiting. People will probably be watching this video going, oh, he said that, I'm gonna clip it and make him look like a right dick. What kind of fucking mentality is that? I don't understand it. But to get back on point, like, you know, in terms of the generation getting softer, can we really be surprised anymore? If this is gonna continue, and I say if, I can't really say if, because of course it is. Last March was when this all happened. It's January. Same thing. Same behaviors. Same things happen over again, repeating itself. If this is the way the world is going to work, then we are going to get softer as a culture, as a society. You know, I was watching something with my father recently at Christmas. It was a show about Beatrix Potter, and the character who played a young Roald Dahl, it was set in wintertime, you know, was wearing shorts in wintertime because that's what they wore to school. You know, it was like just before or after wartime, and I remember him saying to me, he said, "I remember wearing those. I remember wearing that kind of outfit," and I said, "Well, that wouldn't happen now," and it just got me thinking. You know, the tiny little things that you think about that have changed if you talk to your parents, your grandparents, compared to now. And this is what I mentioned earlier, you know, with these lockdowns, the way we're living, you know, the so-called pandemic lifestyle, whatever, or COVID life. Just ring up your grandparents, talk to your parents, ask them what it was like in, you know, 80s, 70s, you know, grandparents further back. Very different, very, very different. You know, there are a lot of things that people have endured that, okay, some will say, oh, but it's not this. Yeah, but but there's been worse, and it's about perspective. I'll say it again, it's about perspective. You know, yes, this is something that has not been fucking handled well, but like I said earlier, do a large majority of people still have, you know, the ability to eat and sleep well? Do a large majority of people still have homes to live in? Yeah, of course they do. In regards to what a lot of the news is focusing on now, you know, businesses and schools, okay, yeah, that's a good talking point. But the majority of businesses, and something that I've touched on in my content, yeah, well, the majority of businesses are failing to adapt to the biggest thing in the world right now, which is the fucking online content in the internet. They're not adapting their businesses, and that's why they're failing. That's why you're seeing shops close. That's why you're seeing businesses model fail, because they're not adapting their strategies. And that's another conversation to have for another day. You know, and you only have to look through my, you know, my thousands of content, because, you know, they're not adapting to this situation, just like the 2008 crisis, you know, the crash, just like, you know, when 9/11 hit, you know, so many things in our history, people have jumped on it and gone, this is something we need to do. When the internet first came out, it was fucking nirvana. Everyone went Twitter, Facebook, let's go. And some people thought, no, I'm going to stick with it. People who thought Blockbuster was still going to be cool, Netflix wasn't going to be a hit. Well, look what happened. You know, and people who are, this is what inspired this vlog now. People who are on the news now, BBC News, arguing, you know, in favour, you know, of staying in the old-fashioned ways, you know, and arguing about mental health, and claiming that the people out there and the young generation, and stereotyping this young generation as people out there joining gangs and looking at explicit content online, just got my blood boiling. Like, is that how we're viewed? That we're all in gangs and we all smoke weed and drive around in Lamborghinis and look at porn? Apparently, because there's literally what someone said on the news. That's how we're viewed as. But apparently, you know, we seem to be doing better than, you know, the older generation. And the scary thing is they don't like that. And it's an unspoken battle that's going on. And they're fighting for it. And it's not how it's worded on the BBC News or on the news in general. That's not how you'll see it when you click on your TV. But that is what's happening right now. They don't want their ways to change. They want to keep things as normal. Because if a kid goes to their parent and goes, I don't want to go to uni, I want to become an influencer, which 80 to 90% of kids nowadays, that's what they want to do. They want to either become a YouTuber, an influencer, or a blogger, or a gamer, or a streamer, or something. That is what most kids want to be when they grow up nowadays. And it scares the hell out of parents and the older generation. Because, and this, I have a theory on this. You know, I look like fucking Wolverine. I have a theory on this. This is why it scares the older generation. Because, and this is a nice way to finish off, it scares the older generation because they didn't have the chances we have. And they resent us for it. They resent our generation because they didn't have the chances we have. My dad didn't. My dad got thrown into work. He had me and my brother at a very young age, and he'll probably hate me for saying this, but he doesn't watch my content. But, you know, there are thousands of other parents out there who have exactly the same situation. They didn't have the chances we have. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have Instagram. You know, they're just catching up. You know, when you find out your mum's on Facebook, when you find out, you know, your older family's all on Instagram, it's like, ugh, what's that? But they didn't have that. We do. And why we're hitting it, and why we all went through that era, is because it's a fucking opportunity. And they resent it now because they had to go and get the jobs. They had to put food on the table. They had families to support. And that's the thing, why there's a little bit of tension and there's a little bit of anger there between the two generations, is because yes, there is an opportunity on the table for this generation, for young kids to literally just go, I don't want to do my SATs, I don't want to do my GCSEs, I don't want to do anything. I can just make an Instagram account and become a TikTok star, you know. That is literally there. It is literally that simple. But there are parents in older generations and who frown on that because deep down, psychologically, they think, well, I didn't have that chance. Why should you? Interesting thoughts. I'll leave it there.